Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Armored Lex Luthor. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I could be wrong here. I think this guy is the DC Universe Classics version. I believe he came in a 2-pack, and I believe he was also released in the DC Superheroes line, which is evidenced by this head sculpt. It is not the same as this head sculpt. I believe this is the DCSH head sculpt, and you can get it with the other one, but I'm not certain. Like I said in one of my other videos, it's been a long time since I've looked at these guys, so if you see one that has a slightly different head sculpt, that explains it. If you don't, then you can ignore everything I just said. This guy does share some body parts with some other figures, but they're well executed on here. I think they did a nice job of configuring this Armored Lex to be a decent figure. He does come with these energy crystals. I don't remember what they are. Power crystals. I'm sorry guys, it's like I said, it's been a long time, but they do have them translucent, orange, blue, and green, and then gold. Thought there was a red one, but I don't see it, so who knows. I'll also refer to the title. I'll look it up and see if this is the DCUC or DCSH one, if there is a difference. So there's that. He does stand about 6 3/4 inches tall, so he's a little bit bulkier. Not necessarily the best designed figure in that the skirt is kind of hindering the hips. While they are articulated with the standard lateral and vertical movement, can't really execute any poses with that due to this skirt. Even though it's a softer material, it is pretty limiting. We do have a thigh swivel in there. Single jointed knee, about 90-degree bend. It tucks into the upper thigh, so that looks kind of good. We do have an ankle hinge here, which works really well. They worked this out down here to make it look like it's kind of like a gear, so we have a really good range of motion. But they are angled, and that's because I believe at least part of this lower leg is from the Mr. Freeze figure, the DCSH Mr. Freeze. If I'm correct, that would explain why they're angled, because he didn't have all of the range of motion and articulation that we're seeing in this figure. This guy does he have a waist twist? I don't believe he does. I think his only torso articulation is a ball peg up here, so that gives him a waist twist up there. A little bit of forward and back, no side to side. Shoulders are just like, if not the exact same, they're not the exact same, they're just like the Azrael figure. It's a standard ball hinge with a big flat cut joint for the bicep swivel, but that works out okay. So you can get pretty good range of motion out of them despite this hard plastic armor. It's just going to take a little bit of work. 90-degree elbow bend. We do have, don't we? Yeah, we do. A wrist swivel at the back end of the glove, so pretty standard range of motion. Both hands kind of have an open grip right there. Then the head is on a ball peg. Doesn't look up too well, but it does look down, and it does spin side to side, and you can get it to lean a little bit, so you can get some pretty decent posing out of it. They did do a good job painting the face. I like the other face better from the other Lex, but this one looks good. The skin is actually a nice flat skin color, and all of these other colors are either metallic or glossy for the most part, and it just looks really good. This green's metallic, this green's kind of metallic, the purple's clearly metallic. These colors are kind of more flat or matte, but that's alright. We have some pink going on. There's black. It looks like a black wash throughout all of the dark green. The purple seems to be non-shaded. And then this is kind of like a pearlescent green, and there is shading going on throughout. They did a good job painting all of these little details. It's a very nice looking figure. It's a nice shelf piece for sure. You're not going to get a ton of range of motion out of most of the articulation, despite the fact that it works well. You know, he's just going to end up standing in kind of a menacing pose. I wouldn't, you know, you're not going to get him in any Spider-Man poses. But I think that's okay for the character. So it's another recommended figure. I think they did a pretty good job with this one. Could it be better? Sure. But does it need to be? Not really. I think we're getting definitely what we paid for with this guy. So there it is. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.